Boxing is a very tough sport, and some men are tougher than others. And the ability to withstand punches, having a solid chin, can be very important. And some boxers have chins made of granite. Men like Randall Tex Cobb, Big George Foreman, who was only ever stopped by Muhammad Ali in 81 fights. James Lights Out Tony, who was never stopped in 92 fights. Oliver the Atomic Ball McCall, 74 fights without being stopped, floored or even hurt. And of course George Chuvalo, who in 93 fights was only ever stopped twice by massive punchers George Foreman and Joe Frazier. Both times he was still standing, he was never floored in his career. But Bearcat Obie Walker may be the toughest man to ever set foot in a boxing ring. Said to be impossible to knock out, he was unbelievably tough. With 128 professional fights, he was never ever stopped, never ever knocked down, and he was never even badly hurt. Built like a tank at 5'9" with a massive neck and a granite chin. It was said that even top heavyweights avoided him. According to Ed Danforth in an article in the Atlanta Georgian, Max Schmeling shrewdly dodged him, and Obie Walker knocked cold every top-notcher he faced in Europe. And competent critics say he could have knocked out Max Schmeling, Joe Louis and Jim Braddock in one night in the space of 10 rounds. Obie Walker was a big puncher. Of his 97 victories, 64 were knockouts. So Obie Walker was an American heavyweight contender in the 1930s, born in Georgia in 1911. Bearcat Obie Walker had some legendary and ferocious battles, but one particular rivalry became legendary. This series of fights was against a dangerous and very feared opponent named Elmer Ray. Elmer Ray was known as Kid Violent. Ring magazine included Elmer Ray in their list of the top 100 greatest punchers of all time. Ray was number 44. Elmer Ray knocks out 71 opponents of his 99 victories. The pair would fight each other 15 times, with Obie winning 4, Elmer Ray winning 8, and 2 draws and 1 no contest. To put into context just how tough Bearcat Obie Walker was, he was never stopped or hurt against Elmer Ray, a man who had beaten Jersey Joe Walcott and stopped Ezzard Charles. And Elmer Ray even shared the ring with the great Joe Louis 3 times in exhibition bouts, although onlookers said they went a lot harder than a normal exhibition. And although Obie lost 8 against Elmer Ray, 7 of those losses came in Obie's last 14 fights, which were right at the end of his long career. In fact, when they first fought, Obie had already had 81 fights, whilst Elmer Ray was fresh after having only 19 fights. So Obie Walker started boxing in 1929 after winning his first 18 fights. He then lost on points to Happy Hunter. He would then get an unbeaten run of 30 victories. During this period between 1934 to 1936, he would travel and fight in Paris. He dreamt of having a shot at the world heavyweight title, but sadly, he had to settle for becoming coloured heavyweight champion. Who knows what would have happened if he'd have got that shot at the title. He beat the legendary 2-ton Tony Galento, a huge character who was a notorious hard man, street fighter and drinker. 2-ton Tony had fought and famously floored heavyweight champion Joe Louis. So Bearcat Obie Walker is a fighter that deserves to be remembered. A heavyweight contender who, although sadly didn't get the chance to fight for the title, but he was dangerous and without a doubt one of the toughest men to ever set foot in a boxing ring.